My friends, welcome to Riell Truth. I'm told by my listeners that you're not hearing enough about the Clintons. You love the Clintons. You like news about the Clintons. I've got news about the Clintons. Item from the Washington Post. And make sure you genuflect when you say that. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump is reviving some of the ugliest political chapters of the 1990s with escalating personal attacks on Bill Clinton's character. Part of a concerted effort to smother Hillary Clinton's campaign message with the weight of decades of controversy. Trump's latest shot came Monday when he released an incendiary Instagram video that includes the voices of two women who accused the former president of sexual assault, underscoring the presumptive Republican nominee's willingness to go far beyond political norms in his critique of his likely Democratic rival. The real estate mogul has said in recent interviews that a range of Clinton-related controversies will be at the center of his case against Hillary Clinton. They said things about me which were very nasty, and I don't want to play that game at all. I don't want to play it at all. But they said things about me that were very nasty, Trump told the Washington Post in an interview. And as long as you do that, I will play whatever level I have to play at. I think I've proven that. In one recent interview, Trump said another topic of potential concern is the suicide of former White House aide Vince Foster, which remains the focus of intense and far-fetched conspiracy theories on the internet. Stop! My friends, you know that this is coming from the Washington Post because they are already in the fourth or fifth paragraph rushing to the defense of the Clintons. And I am here to tell you, ain't gonna fly. How do I know what was going on with Vince Foster? Well, I'll tell you. You see me if you're watching me on video right now. You're watching me hold up a book, a copy of Roger Stone's The Clintons' War on Women. And I'm turning to page 165 where it talks a little about Mr. Vince Foster. Now, I've read this book. Vince Foster is alleged to have had a long-standing affair with Hillary Clinton. At a certain point, he is alleged to have committed suicide. However, there were all kinds of things wrong with the crime scene. Gun in the wrong hand, body in the wrong place, reports that he was just about to go public about the Clintons. I'll tell you what, I'm going to let you get this book, The Clintons' War on Women by Roger Stone and Robert Morrow. I don't make a penny if you get it. Get it at the library, get it at the bookstore, get it on Amazon. As long as you get my book also, by the way, Riell Truth, Stay Angry. Get this book and read it. If you're planning on voting in November, then you need to know what the hell is in this book, because then you will understand where the Washington Post is coming from, and the New York Times, and all the cable stations, and a whole bunch of other left-leaning media outlets, when they call these things far-fetched. I've read the book, and I'm here to tell you it is not far-fetched. And conspiracy theories don't hang around long unless there's some meat to them. Now, I'm not saying anybody's guilty or innocent. I only know what I've read. But to call these theories, these reports, these rumors far-fetched, I think is inaccurate. And it's the Washington Post that tried to do a hatchet job on Donald Trump just a couple of weeks ago. So be careful where you're getting your news from. Here's a related item. From Fox News, Hillary Clinton's campaign is declining an invitation to a proposed Fox News-hosted Democratic presidential debate that her primary opponent, Bernie Sanders, tentatively accepted last week. The campaign released a statement Monday, almost a week after Fox News invited both Democratic presidential candidates to a final debate in California before the June 7th primaries. Item from InfoWars, related item. Al Gore, remember him, is refusing to endorse Hillary Clinton for president until she wins the Democratic nomination. The former vice president has stated many times in the past it's too early to endorse Hillary or her rival, Bernie Sanders, but revealed on today, Monday morning, that he will not back either candidate until they win the primary. When asked if he'd been approached by Clinton or Sanders for an endorsement, Gore said, quote, "I've gotten signals that you can interpret that way," unquote. My friends, this one little item, these three little paragraphs are so packed with power I can't even begin to tell you. Number one, who the hell needs or wants Al Gore on their side? He speaks for no one who isn't named Gore. Number two, what bravery we find in Al Gore. What a leader he is. He'll come out and endorse a candidate as soon as that candidate has already won and no longer needs his endorsement. Number 3, he gave a politician's answer to the question whether or not he's been asked for an endorsement. I've gotten signals you can interpret that way means no one gives a rat's ass about Al Gore or even wants his endorsement. Number 4, back to Hillary Clinton. Take a look at Donald Trump. At the first debate, he was on the stage with 16 superstars in the political realm. 16 people, all of whom could be good presidents. Some of whom could be very good presidents. He defeated them all, one by one. Then look at Hillary Clinton. She's running against a bumbling 74-year-old wingnut socialist, and she cannot put him away, cannot seal the deal, and now she's afraid to debate him. My friends, a good part of America knows how pathetic Hillary Clinton is, what a train wreck she is, what a lying pig and an inept disaster she is. You know who also knows it? Hillary knows it. She knows it. That's why when it comes to the economy, which is the number one issue for people, a few days ago she said, my husband will handle that. In other words, that's man's work. I thought she was a feminist. Number 2, she wants to be leader of the free world. She's not even leader of the party. Women are distancing themselves from her. Democrats are distancing themselves from her. A huge chunk of Democrats who want to vote for Bernie Sanders, they won't even vote for her if she's the candidate. They'll vote for Trump. Hillary is like someone who's got a plague. People just back away from them. People don't want to be near them, don't want to be photographed with her. They know that she is political Ebola. And wait, it's only May. When we get to the summer and the fall and the election really approaches, her own daughter, Chelsea, won't be acknowledging her connection anymore. She'll be hiding her last name. Bill Clinton, maybe he'll be shacked up with some crack whore somewhere, who knows? Maybe the truth will be known about the death of Vince Foster by then. Maybe some of Hillary's lesbian consorts will have come out publicly by then. Who knows what will happen in the next few months? But it's an interesting race, ain't it? This is Riell Truth, and it's Tuesday, and I'll be back.
We all know that the control. What are the points of people in it?
Rebecca Kennedy, there is a major rift in the Democratic Party.
Liberty Forum, Freedom Rider says officials of the government must be accountable for their actions. AccountabilityRevolution.com, the place to go to learn how you can make that happen. Become their judges, not their slaves. AccountabilityRevolution.com. Rehabilitation. Alzheimer's. Nobody. Had a great fortune. Morning, night. You know of a lot of friends and neighbors show us behind. Just as more information on the show. More information than I but the grace of God, because many people in the world, but you will know the Spirit of God, that the Spirit that confesses that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is of God, and every spirit that does not confess that Yeshua has come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of Antichrist, which will never be heard of the coming, and is now already in the world for John 4:1. Article 4. The right of the people to be secure in the persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and thieves shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly the price of the to be searched and the person or thing to be seen.
All right, guys, we're back. Howard Riell Truth. You know, the stench is rising not only from Hillary and Bill Clinton, but from the Democratic establishment in general. You can smell blood in the water, just like sharks can smell blood in the water, and then they come in for the kill. Here's Sean Hannity on Fox News talking to Newt Gingrich. He says the Democratic Party's corruption is coming home to roost. Let's listen.
And welcome back to Hannity. There is a major rift in the Democratic Party between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders supporters, and it's only getting worse as the Democratic race now carries on. Newt Gingrich says that the Democrats now have a civil war on their hands. He's here to explain that and much more. My next most important question, though, do you know if you were being vetted? You've been talked a lot about.
I don't know. I know nothing.
Well, no, you would know if you're being vetted because they might ask for financial information or something like that.
Well, in that case, nobody's talked to me about nothing.
When do you say nothing? You don't ever say that.
No, but I just thought it fit the moment.
I'm glad you're having a laugh at my expense. The issue, though, before us is, a lot of people say, okay, Donald Trump has these issues. But look at the Democrats and Hillary Clinton. What does it say that she can't finish off Bernie Sanders? What does it say that Bernie Sanders is so angry at her and Debbie Wasserman Schultz and a majority of her, a significant percentage of Bernie supporters, they say they're going to Donald Trump. Do you think this will manifest itself in a general election, or do people go back to their neutral course?
Well, if you go back 2 or 3 months and you said, the Democrats are going to have more trouble in Philadelphia in their convention than the Republicans are in Cleveland, nobody would have believed you. But what's clear is that, the Clintons rigged the game. They used Debbie Wasserman Schultz, they used the DNC, they set up, debates at the worst possible hours. They did everything they could to rig the game for Hillary, and they have all these super delegates that are inherently violate the principle of popular support. And so finally you see Sanders and his supporters, the momentum keeps building and keeps building, and Hillary's going to have to surrender to him huge chunks of territory on the platform, on the rules. I wouldn't be at all surprised to have Sanders make a condition of his support that they eliminate superdelegates for the future, that they can't have them anymore.
By the way, it would be kind of fair, right? I mean, that is the most. Bernie wins West Virginia, 51-36. He gets 18 delegates, she gets 11. Add the super delegates, he gets 19, she gets 18, and she got destroyed in the state.
No, there's no question. The part of what's happened is that the corruption of the Democratic Party is coming home to roost in one more example. The game was rigged. It was rigged to favor the insiders. Hillary is the ultimate insider. And what you've had is this emergence of a genuine left-wing populism that is truly angry. And so if you're really mad, for example, about Wall Street, and people should be, and then you look at her giving $250,000 secret speeches and pretending that she's really opposed to people who give her $250,000 checks. I mean, it is beyond belief that Hillary thinks she can take $250,000 at a time for an hour and have you believe she's against the person who gave her the check.
Now is in a general election. Okay, you're Donald Trump. You have the ability to attack Hillary, crooked Hillary, and go forward and mention all the things that he has mentioned in terms of their personal character flaws, traits, problems that they have. Balance that with the need of this country to get to a balanced budget, to fix the VA, to build up our military, to identify ISIS first so you can defeat them, to get rid of health care and replace it, to become energy independent, to make our educational system better, all things we were talking about. If you're balancing what to talk about, a solution should be what percentage versus really exposing the Clintons for who they are as the other percentage of time spent.
Well, I think I put it into 3 boxes. I put in big solutions, big ideas, making America great again, the world Trump wants to create. And I give that probably half the time. Then I would take the genuine, legitimate policy failures. For example, her commitment to getting rid of Gaddafi and the disaster that Libya's become ever since. And I'd go down the list of things that she has failed at, including, by the way, helping create government-run health care that's a total disaster. That's a policy difference. I give that a quarter. Then the last quarter I'd reserve for the kind of counter-punching that Trump has become famous for, and I'd let Hillary know that any time she wants to cross a certain line, he's just going to hit her as hard as he can and throw the kitchen sink at her. And frankly, between their past, between the Clinton Foundation, between the email scandals, he has more ammunition than he'll end up using this fall.
And so then my question to you is, for those, you even said he's a nationalist populist, but don't we really have to rethink war after Vietnam and Iraq, and we engage in these conflicts only to have them politicized, only to give back the gains our brave servicemen and women fought for?
Look, I gave a speech at the American Enterprise Institute in April of 2003 calling for the complete overhaul of the State Department, which I thought was a disaster, and it's worse today. In December 2003, I went to meet the press with Tim Russert, and I did an interview with Newsweek, and I said we'd gone off the cliff in Iraq. All of my original willingness to support an aggressive effort in the Middle East disappeared in the incompetence with which we tried to do it, and in the way in which we tried to do things that were not possible. You're not going to create a democracy in Libya in the near future. I don't care how much effort you put into it. It's not going to happen. You're not going to solve sectarian violence in Iraq in the near future. It's not going to happen. We need some realism in our foreign policy, and that's why I'm comfortable with the tough questions that Donald Trump is raising.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Speaker, always a pleasure. Thank you for being with us. You will tell us if they ask for any information, right? You're going to...
Well, not if they tell me it's secret.
Hey, that's an honest answer. I can respect that, not if they tell them it's secret. Item from The Guardian. Anoa Changa is a feminist who isn't going to vote for Hillary Clinton. Last July, when the 34-year-old Atlanta-based attorney began volunteering with the grassroots organization Women for Bernie Sanders, she received immediate pushback from other women. Over social media, they accused her and other Sanders volunteers of betraying their gender and of being fake feminists. Even former professors and friends questioned how she could support the Vermont senator over Secretary of State. Stop! This is an insight into the minds of feminists. They're not that bright. And they're very closed-minded and very narrow in how they see the world. Feminists see the world through a tight little crack, and no, I'm not going to make that joke. Feminists don't look at the issues and the positions taken by a variety of candidates and then judge which candidate will be best for them and the United States of America and the world. They want a vagina. Vagina is all they want. If you're a woman, they say, and you're not voting for the candidate with a vagina, then there's something wrong with you. I would respectfully disagree. I'm just kidding. It's not really respectfully. I think these people are pinheads. I think they're fools, and I think they let themselves and their families and their country down. Hillary Clinton is a disaster. I wouldn't trust her to walk my dog. She's inept. She's greedy, ambitious. She's spiritually ugly. She's vicious. She's angry. She treats minorities like pets to be controlled. She doesn't get the first clue what to do. She was a terrible Secretary of State. She was a nothing as a senator in New York. Anything she's ever gotten, she's gotten because she's married to Bill Clinton. She was thrown off the Watergate team, prosecuting Watergate. I should say defending Watergate, because she was dishonest. The stories from Secret Service agents who've been on her detail are many. And they all say the same thing. She's an animal. Treats people like garbage. But that's all okay because she's got a vagina. Reportedly. Time for feminists to get smarter. If possible. Feminism was a very, very good idea and much needed in the 60s and the 70s, even into the 80s, maybe the beginning of the 90s. Once we got to the mid-90s, feminism became overkill. They became concerned with nonsense, with ridiculous things, with petty minutia. And today, feminists have so little brain power, so little imagination, so little scope to their thought, that you're a traitor unless you vote for the candidate with the vagina, even though that candidate is a screaming harpy who would destroy what's left of this country. She would be 4 more years at least of Barack Obama, who has eviscerated large sections of this country. But feminists don't care, because Hillary is the candidate with the vagina. It's poison for America, that kind of thinking. Voting for anyone because of who she or he is, or what he or she is anathema to the way America has always seen the world, has always operated. You don't vote for a candidate because he's black or white, or a candidate because he's male or female. You vote for the best candidate. America should and must always be a meritocracy. You vote for the person who's best equipped to run the country. So feminists, you need to get smarter. And if you refuse to get smarter, at least do America the courtesy of not voting. Because ignorant voters we don't need. Item from Waleed Shubat, former guest here on Riell Truth. More evidence is arising to show that the pilot of Flight 804 went suicide. He did some bizarre things. He converted the plane into a makeshift mosque, used the equipment to tell passengers the direction of Mecca, had a last supper and said farewell as if we who are about to die salute you. He called his brother before takeoff, telling him to, quote, pray for him as he was going for martyrdom. He had connections with one of the most radical preachers and terror supporters in Egypt. We start with testimony of Osama Abdul Basit, the captain in charge of the air hospitality in Egyptian air, says it all, quote, the captain Mohammed Shakir, the pilot of that fateful flight, had organized a last supper knowing he was about to die. He called on his colleagues before the incident a few days earlier to lunch at his house, hinting that the end was near, the end of his life, that is, and that he was ready to meet his maker, and gave his farewell. He was bidding his friends farewell with words that came out of his mouth for the first time in his life, unquote. So my friends, I've got a question for you. Here's this pilot who appears, I have no proof yet, the proof will be forthcoming, he appears to have been a jihad warrior who crashed the plane intentionally as a means of spreading terrorism. Let's say for a minute that's true. Until that plane crashed, this pilot was a law-abiding citizen, decent guy, family man, long-time airline pilot, respected professional, not a problem in the world. Until he committed mass murder. And so I've got a question for you. What about all the good Muslims here in America and across Europe, just like this pilot? Never hurt anybody. Family, job, career, pays his taxes, puts his garbage out by the curb once a week. Doesn't mean to do anybody harm until he begins murdering. How do we prevent that murder from ever happening? Well, we don't do it by trying to explain to them that they really ought to rethink their religion. We don't do it that way. We don't do it by surveilling mosques, so certainly that will help. Only one way to absolutely guarantee that murder never takes place. Only one. Remember what I've told you in the past. You cannot have Muslims murdering people in your country if there are no Muslims in your country. The logic, my friends, is inescapable. We'll be back.
We all know that our government is out of control. What are the point of people in it? How can we, the people, bring it back to the conservative, not the people
Oh, it bit me! It bit me! Hang on. I know how to put
accountable for their
my
actions.
foot. Floating.
Accountabilityrevolution.com
Pop up
tells
there.
you to go to learn
I'm gonna make me sign up for the newsletter.
Put their judgment, not their feelings. Accountabilityrevolution.com.
Oh, I don't want to download your app. Hang on.
Sure. Good.
15 more seconds and I can skip this ad.
Morning, Mike. We've never been all the things. More information on the show. 48469. Great Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems.
Now, top story interview with Donald Trump. Kennedy joins us now from his New York City headquarters.
But make self-reliant for your power needs.
Now,
Solar
top
energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power to short term. Our expertise focuses standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility and system systems, custom capabilities, modest emergency lighting, all the way to commercial scale power. Great Plains Power is a full-service company. We serve everything we sell.
I'm trying to say you should read the book. I'm not very good at sign language. It's an amazing read, and if you're planning on voting, it's your duty to read this book. Get a copy of it.
Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to rippplainsolar.com. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, only money, emit bill of credit, make anything but gold and silver coins considered a payment of debt, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contract, or grant any title of nobility. Article 1, Section 10. And the word became selected both about us, and we beheld his glory, the glory of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15.
The show is called Riell Truth. I'm called, well, I won't tell you what people call me, but my name is Howard Riell. I tried to get Donald Trump on my show. I couldn't do it because I'm not Bill O'Reilly and KHNC is not Fox News. So I did the next best thing. I got Donald Trump for you being interviewed by Bill O'Reilly on Fox News. Give a listen.
Story interview with Donald Trump. Kennedy joins us now from his New York City headquarters. First of all, you still believe that Egyptian airliner was blown out of the sky? There's a lot of different speculation now.
I do, in a certain way. I mean, I don't know what they used, but something bad happened, and we'll see. I guess they'll eventually find out, but I certainly do. I know that plane very well. I know that type of aircraft, and you have thousands and thousands flying millions of miles. There's never been anything like it, so I do, and I think most people do.
Okay. Now, would you support asking Congress for a declaration of war to fight terrorism, and then under that declaration there would be the groups that would be that the United States would declare war on: ISIS, Al Qaeda, Taliban. Would you favor that? Because if you're president, a declaration of war gives you more power to defeat these people.
It wouldn't bother me at all doing that. We probably should have done that in the first place. Look, we are at war with these people, and they don't wear uniforms. It's not your traditional war where it's a war against Germany, Japan, or whoever. This is a war against people that are vicious, violent people that we have no idea who they are, where they come from. We're allowing tens of thousands of them into our country now. So on top of wars on foreign land, when you see what happens in the future, it'll be pretty. I hope I'm wrong about that, but it's probably not going to be pretty.
But it's speculation.
And we are allowing, Bill, well, that's not speculation. We're allowing people into our country. We don't know who they are, where they come from. They happen to have cell phones. Some of them have cell phones with the ISIS flag on them. So I think it's something we have to be very tough and very vigilant.
And
very
you've done
smart,
very well
or
with
we're going to be in big
your
trouble.
national policy, national security policy. But I want to get you on the record. Would you ask Congress to pass a declaration of war if you're elected?
I would have no problem with doing it, Bill.
Okay. That doesn't mean you do it, but I'll take that. Now, we
I'll
discussed...
study the facts. I'll study the facts, but I think right now I would have no problem with doing it because we are at war.
All right, because
By
it
the
does
way,
give the president
world is at
more
war.
power in waging the fight. Now, you and I have gone around and around on ISIS a little bit, and your theory is that you take their oil away, you strangle their ability to fight themselves, and that's one of the components. I say that if you
And I've said that for a long time.
Right. I say if you do that, it's going to be a bloodbath. They're not going to give that oil up easy, so you're going to have ground troops to do it, and it's going to be a bloodbath. How about this? Would you support declaring that anyone buying oil from ISIS is an enemy of the state? That means an enemy of the United States. That way, anybody who buys it, we can drop a drone on.
Well, it depends who it is and everything else. I'm not sure I want to go that far because you could have maybe they send 2 barrels to England. Maybe they send 2 barrels to Sweden.
No. There's the buyers, the guys, not the secondary market. The first guys who buy it.
Yeah.
See, I would do that. I would say enemies of the state,
Well, I
you
can
buy
tell you
from
this.
ISIS, and I'm going to come get you. That would dry up their oil. That would put them out of the
I can
oil
tell you.
business, as they say in Texas.
I can tell you right now, we're not even hitting the people that are buying it on site, the trucks and all of these
we're not
big
hitting them
trucks
at all.
that
In
drive
fact,
in, we're not even hitting
in fact,
them.
they say don't hit them. That we have transmissions of the military saying don't hit them, blow the hell out of them. But you'd have to declare them enemies of the state, so you'd have to do that first.
By the way, in that case, absolutely 100%, because we're not hitting them. In fact, we're saying get out of your trucks. We're going to go after you. The whole thing is so preposterous what we're doing.
I would
Those
vaporize
people,
the
I
trucks.
would hit so hard and so fast.
Okay.
My friends, they're right. We're not doing anything. Sometimes it almost seems as if Barack Obama's on the terrorist side.
Absolutely.
Let's turn to a domestic issue that's getting a lot of people very angry. Right after you, we're going to have a talk with Kirsten Powers about transgendered orders from the White House, which would basically put people who are transitioning from one sex to another but haven't done it biologically yet in a locker room. So you would have little girls, 8 to 11 or 12, with a boy who wants to be a girl in the same shower. Conceivably, that could happen. And as Charlotte Observer editorialized recently, that's fine. We need to get over that. I was a little perturbed by that editorial. What say you?
Well, it's not fine, and I have to tell you that I would, generally speaking, leave it to the states to decide. Obama's getting into a very tricky territory, and the amazing thing is so many people are talking about this now, and we have to protect everybody, even if it's one person. But this is such a tiny part of our population. Now, with that being said, protect everybody, but I would really leave it up to the states.
Do you have in your facilities, your hotels, do you have separate facilities for transgendered? Are you going to put those in?
No, we don't. No, we don't have that.
Are you going to put them in?
I hope not, because frankly, it would be unbelievably expensive nationwide. It would be,
But it's human rights.
Hundreds
Human
of millions
rights.
of dollars. It would be, well, I don't know about human rights. I can tell you that it would be an unbelievably expensive thing to do, and I think our country really wants to be spending money on other things in terms of let's build more buildings, let's create more jobs, let's do something. But that would be an unbelievably expensive situation to do. Unbelievably. And frankly, the number of people we're talking about is really a small number.
Yes, very
Again,
small.
protect them. But it's a very, very small number.
Okay.
My friends, why won't, I like Donald Trump. Why won't he or anyone else say, look, transgender people are mental cases and they need treatment. We're not going to enable their sickness. Why won't anyone say that? Ugh, I'm disheartened. Anyway, let's continue.
I think it was today on the internet, you put up some stuff about Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. It's kind of tawdry stuff, and I'm not sure that this is a good thing to do that.
You're talking about what I'm doing? Well, I'm only responding to what they do. They've been nasty. She's been very nasty, and I said I'd like it to be on policy, Bill. I'd like it to be a straight right down the middle. And by the way, the one thing you didn't mention about the polls, number one, I think I am popular with people. I really do. And I think a lot of people that maybe say I'm not, they're going to still vote for me. But you didn't explain that I was winning in most of the polls now. I'm winning in the tracking polls, and I'm winning in most of the polls against Hillary.
Well, we did that on
Thursday.
Thursday.
Which I think is maybe...
We reported it
A
first
lot of
on
people
Thursday.
maybe didn't see that show.
No, everybody watches every night.
Some people might not have seen it.
No, they all saw it.
I can't. Maybe you're
Every
right.
human
You're
being on
probably
earth
right about
knows
that.
and saw that because it goes on the internet.
Okay.
And you tweeted about it, and everybody reads your tweets. So that's been out. But I understand what you're trying to do here is inhibit.
My friends, I got to tell you, Bill O'Reilly comes across as one of the most arrogant people around. And whenever he sits with Donald Trump, it's like he's trying to show that he's smarter than Trump. Bill, you're not. Item from Fox News. Add Harry Reid to the list of troubles dogging Hillary Clinton as she stumbles towards the Democratic nomination for president. The powerful Senate Minority Leader delivered an unusual warning to Clinton on selecting a running mate, vowing to do whatever I can, quote unquote, to stop her from choosing a Democratic senator from a state led by a Republican governor. If we have a Republican governor in any of those states, the answer is not only no, but hell no. And I would do whatever I can, and I think most of my Democratic colleagues here would say the same thing, said Reid on MSNBC's AM Joy. I would yell and scream to stop that.
Folks, have you ever thought about having your own backyard chicken? Now you have a source for certified organic, no GMO, no story chicken feed. HappyHens.biz can even deliver, or you can pick up. Call me, Tim, at 303-829-5948, or go to happyhens.biz for pricing and ingredients. At happyhens.biz, we love happyhens.biz. Or call us at 303-829-5948.
If catastrophe struck, would your family be prepared? Are you confident you won't react in a panic? Is there one place to get all of your emergency supplies? Ferris Survival encourages you to have confidence through preparation, not panic through crisis. Ferris Survival, located at 3366 South Broadway, is a professional, reputable, full-service business providing quality, realistic preparedness supplies at an affordable price. Go online, stop by, or call 303-703-03. Ferris Survival.
24-hour Walmart Supercenter stock launch reminds us no one anywhere can affordable like this stuff. Greatest amount of United States people. These brave men and women, their families, good skill for our freedom every day. We can show appreciate their sacrifice. Build a military care package today and look into the art. Will be and first. Just make 24-hour Walmart Supercenter. Can't crack Boulevard in. Not the air for our crew.
The Lord brings the counsel of the nations to pass. He makes the plans of the people come to pass. The counsel of the Lord stands forever. The plans of his heart all generations. Blessed is the nation. God is the people he has chosen as his own inheritance. Psalm 33, verses 10.
All right, guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. You know, I like to think that I enjoy your trust, that I've earned your trust. Some people, however, might not believe some of the things I say. So when I tell you that Bernie Sanders voters are either naive or as stupid as rocks, you might not believe me. Okay. Let's talk to some Bernie Sanders supporters. Better yet, let's let Mark Dice do it because he's got the patience for these people and I don't. He's standing on the pier, I think he's in Florida, interviewing Bernie Sanders supporters, asking them what they think about Bernie Sanders getting Bernie Madoff as a running mate for vice president. Bernie Madoff, the crook, the thief who's been in jail for the past few years, who probably will never get out of jail, who ripped off people for tens of millions of dollars. Mark Dice is asking Bernie Sanders supporters, what do you think about him selecting Bernie Madoff as his vice president? Let's listen.
Just getting people's comments on Bernie Madoff now being chosen by Bernie Sanders to be his VP.
I got nothing for you. Yeah, I dig your shirt though.
Here, let me give you some stickers.
Oh,
You want to switch?
yeah.
Bernie Sanders bringing Bernie Madoff aboard as his vice presidential pick to, sort of help clean up Wall Street. Good idea, you think?
I think it's a good idea.
Madoff kind of knows Wall Street insider, former Wall Street insider himself, so now it looks like it'll be Bernie, which is kind of unique as well.
All the Burns.
Do you think that's a good idea?
I'll say so, sure.
Bernie Sanders just announced his vice presidential choice, Bernie Madoff, the Wall Street wizard. So now it's Bernie 2016. Just getting people's comments. Good idea choosing Bernie Madoff as his running mate?
I heard, I don't know Bernie Madoff, but one person told me about him and said good things. So if he's as good as the person says, then I'm all for it.
You trust Bernie's decision, right?
From what I heard, what I was told by this person about what Bernie's about, I'm all for it.
Okay.
My friends, the scary part is, yeah, it's a funny video. It's scary because these idiots vote, just like you and I do. Their votes count just as much as ours. And they haven't got enough brains to come in out of the rain. Maybe that's why they live in a sunny climate like Florida. Let's go back to it.
Bernie Madoff, the Wall Street wizard. So now it's going to be Bernie
Wow.
2016. Good choice. Picking Bernie Madoff as his VP, even though they have the same first name.
I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty
cool.
badass. Yeah.
Just getting people's opinions on whether that's going to help his candidacy. Do you think that'll give him a little boost in the polls?
I think a financial advisor is probably a good thing. Everyone's worried about the economy.
Hold on.
So everyone's worried about the economy, so having someone with a strong background in finance would be good for his campaign.
Madoff has decades of knowledge of financial advising and insider knowledge, so it's a good idea basically to bring him aboard as Bernie Sanders VP.
I think so, yeah. Having a strong finance background, that's what we're all looking for.
So you're feeling the burn even more now.
Feeling the burn.
It's Bernie 2016 now that it's Bernie Sanders and Bernie Madoff.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
Okay. All right, well, thanks for your thoughts.
No problem.
Bernie's coming to town tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he also has announced his VP pick, Bernie Madoff, so the Wall Street wizard. Funny.
Madoff is no good.
Oh.
Bernie, okay.
See, we got to talk to the millennials. See, they know. Anybody over the age of 30, then their brain starts to function properly.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders has enough faith in Bernie Madoff to bring him aboard and officially endorse him as his VP. You think that's probably still a good idea? I mean, you still support Bernie, right?
Yeah. I would assume from his other policies that he knows what he's talking about.
Bringing Madoff aboard, obviously he's quite familiar with his, financial history and everything he's done. So, just checking to see if people think it's a good idea or if you were going to flip over and support Hillary because of the Bernie Madoff issue.
No.
Still support Bernie.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But Bernie has announced his VP running mate now, also named Bernie. Bernie Madoff, a big financial advisor.
Okay.
Just getting people's opinions if that's going to help.
Yeah.
Help Bernie, you think?
From what I hear, he's kind of starting a revolution, right? He wants to do a lot. He wants to help a lot of people, a lot of low-income individuals. And I think since he got another Bernie Madoff as his VP, I think that'll really solidify his position. And it won't be so much as he's just saying things. He's actually going to back it with his support as a VP. But
especially since Mr. Madoff has an extensive financial history.
Exactly. Yeah. I think so too. Yeah.
Oh, that's man on the street money.
Yeah, my friends, so when I tell you Bernie Madoff supporters are dumb, please believe me. I wouldn't lie to you. I know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't believe me, you'll find that video on YouTube. Item from InfoWars. A shocking editorial in the Charlotte Observer counseled young girls to get over the discomfort they feel at the sight of male genitalia when transgender facilities are allowed in North Carolina. The newspaper assumes the law will eventually be repealed or declared illegal. While that may or may not happen anytime soon, it is the justification for this position used by the Observer that reveals the true nature of this battle in the bathroom. Unquote. So rather than say men use the men's room and ladies use the ladies' room, the Charlotte Observer is saying, girls, you should get used to seeing men's genitalia. Anybody who reads the Charlotte Observer going forward deserves everything they get. Item from noscomunicamos.com. Judge declares FBI has amassed enough evidence to indict Hillary 100 times over. Fox News contributor Judge Andrew Napolitano recently spoke with Bill O'Reilly about the FBI investigation into Hillary Clinton and her email scandal, and according to them, there's more than enough evidence available for indictment and a conviction, unquote. Well, if that's the case, where the hell are they? The evidence of her guilt is overwhelming, Napolitano said. The FBI knows a lot more about it than I do. If the evidence against Clinton is indeed overwhelming, then the FBI would most likely be more than inclined to recommend to the Justice Department that Clinton face criminal charges. However, according to Napolitano, whether or not the Justice Department will actually indict Clinton, despite the evidence, is a completely different question given the current political landscape. FBI Director James Comey said Thursday that despite the mounting evidence in the FBI's investigation, there is no current timetable as to when or if anyone in the probe will face criminal charges. Comey said he'd prefer conducting the investigation properly rather than merely opt for attempting to conclude the investigation prior to the Democratic National Convention this July. For some reason, I get the feeling that despite the evidence, the Justice Department won't seek charges against Queen Bee since she's the favorite to take the Democratic Party presidential nomination. Unquote. My friends, as I've said before, if you were to walk into a supermarket, pocket a Three Musketeers bar and walk out, I assure you, there would be no delay in arranging for your indictment. You'd find yourself in the Hooskow within the hour. We'll be right back.
Sponsored by followers, flag holders, flags, and theater. Our vehicle is an extension of our freedom. It can also be a symbol of that freedom. With full-size flags flying from your truck, car, or motorcycle, you make a statement to all that you are a patriot. Go to showyourcolors.biz for the best vehicle, flag holders, flags, and theater. Let people know what you stand by the way you ride or drive.
I'm Joe Jacobs, CEO of the Patriots Trading, and I'd like to thank all of our customers for doing business with us over the years. Because of you, we are celebrating 20 years in business. So here's to you for allowing us into your cars, offices, homes, computers, iPods, and anything else you tune into us, but most importantly, for doing business with us. We give you the news to disturb the comfortable at allamericangold.com. The Tinfoil Nation tunes in every day from 9 to 10 a.m. for economics with attitude. And we continue to deliver gold and silver right to your door, privately, securely, timely, and most importantly, complaint-free. So learn more about gold and silver. Visit us at gold.com or simply call us at 800-951-0592 to place an order. Now this is the testimony of John, and frequent Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" He confessed and did not deny, but confessed, "I am not the Messiah." And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" And he answered, "No." The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19, 21.
All right, guys, we are back, but we're almost done. Item from Rush Limbaugh. He said the following today. So Trump has gone there. Trump has gone to all of this Clinton conspiracy stuff, and I got people saying, why is he doing this, Rush? Why doesn't Trump just stick to the issues? He's got this Make America Great theme going. He's got the wall in Mexico. Why deviating from it? I want to remind you, I predicted this. I have nothing to do with the Trump campaign. Zilch, zero, nada. A lot of other people do, but I don't. I told everybody way back when that Trump's going to go where nobody else goes with the Clintons. He's going to go there. And it's not unusual for Trump to rely on tabloid data for his attacks. He's been doing it since the campaign began. You got to remember there's lots of people that read those things. There's lots of people that think those things are gospel. I mean, it is what it is. It may not make you happy, it may make you disappointed for the future of the human race and so forth, but it's not unusual. Tabloids, no different than E! Entertainment Television or TMZ or what have you. I mean, they have various locations on the strata, but that kind of gossip, what have you, it's always going to be a big audience. And Trump is getting to it, I think, early for a reason. He's getting it out there. He told everybody he was going to get it out there, and he's getting it out there. Nobody else will touch it. Nobody else wanted to touch this stuff ever. Any of it. My friends, stop. Because El Rushbo is making a very, very valuable point here. Other people don't want to go there. Bill Clinton has allegedly molested women ever since he was in Arkansas as governor. He's allegedly raped at least one woman. Hillary Clinton, according to witnesses, knew it was happening and led a pack of attack dogs to destroy the women that her husband had allegedly molested and or raped. So this is very germane to the presidential election. It's very important for people to hear this stuff. And when someone like Hillary herself says she won't deign to talk about it, she won't condescend to that level, well, she's lying again. It's not a level she's unfamiliar with. She doesn't want to talk about it because it shows her to be an animal. It's very relevant to this election. And why won't the media talk about it? Well, because the media is in bed with the Democratic Party. The media is in bed with the establishment. The media isn't doing its job. And so Donald Trump is doing that job for them. As well he should. Item. From Bloomberg.com, 18 days after declining to endorse Donald Trump, Paul Ryan is starting to look a bit lonely. That sense of isolation began with the unusual path Ryan took to becoming Speaker of the U.S. House, and it's deepening now as his Republican lieutenants climb aboard the Trump train. Ryan faces one of the trickier decisions in his career without the aid of a network of staunch allies. He ascended to the job without working his way up through traditional leadership posts, where past speakers have collected their political teams. But a long standoff over Trump risks trying Republicans' patience, particularly if Ryan, slated to chair the party's July nominating convention in Cleveland, doesn't end up endorsing the billionaire. It's not clear how much longer he can hold out. Unquote. My friends, if you are waiting for Paul Ryan to endorse Trump before you decide whom you will vote for, then I want to tell you, you're not overly bright. Paul Ryan is a nothing. He's a nobody. He's a mouse that's roaring. The evidence for supporting Trump, the case for supporting Trump, has been out in the open and obvious for the better part of the last year. If you're still undecided, then I recommend therapy. And I mean a good amount of it. I'll be back tomorrow with more Real Truth. My friends, stay safe, stay healthy, stay informed, and stay angry. Bye guys, all done. Please share this video. Hasta luego.